أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Inna hamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. First, we seek refuge with Allah from Satan, the avowed enemy. We begin in the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer, the especially merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord and sustainer of all worlds. Indeed, we give praise to Allah, whom we seek His aid and forgiveness for our wrongdoings, our nafs. He whom Allah guides, there is none that can lead him astray. And he whom Allah leaves astray, there is none that can guide him. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship but Allah, the one God, who has no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his prophet, servant, and messenger. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a chapter as I read it and go with some words. I feel that this is more of a shake-up on the establishment during that time. And it's an early Meccan surah, and the surah is called the city, Balad. And when you begin to read it, you think of it in revolutionary terms, like it's battle time. But the theme changed to get society to see themselves. And we know that the Quran is an oft reminder of who we are as a people, and to check yourself, to check yourself. So this surah seems to shake up the establishment and to highlight on the focus on the ways of life, of land, life, freedom, shaking up the hierarchies, the people that are in power, and to express to them how insignificant that power is. And that they think they are doing something because they can make laws that control people. This surah, I believe that being that it was an early Meccan surah, that the entrenchment of their traditions were so deep that it's very hard to break out of it, especially if your teacher is younger than you. In this particular society that Rasulullah is in. And he had an uncle who, by tradition, was a protector, meaning that out of respect society had for the uncle, he can go free as he please. But we know that Allah is the best of protectors, and that even after hearing revelation, his uncle never accepted al-Islam. He never accepted the message. This is what we've learned in history. Not to judge that situation because we don't know what was in his heart at that time, but we know that he held on to the tradition of being a protector over his nephew. So by him not taking the Shahada makes me ask a question. Well, did he really adhere to any of the revelation? So the revelation is reading to, is grabbing the attention of the listener. And it begins with la. It begins with la, which is no or nay, or to get your attention. And most of the time we think of it as a negation. We say la ilaha illallah, which is a negation, meaning first we say there is no God. We negate that there is any God other than Allah. So that la is a negation that there's anything, there's nothing like Allah, the one God. So in this surah, it begins with la, and it's saying no, it's saying nay. And what it is doing is that it's opening up as if it's stopping an argument. As if you're talking and we're having a discussion and I say, no, I know. And then after that, which grabs your attention, is I swear by this land, this city. The surah begins. I swear by this land, this city. Now, when you swear by something, you're catching the attention of the person because, what, do I have to run? Do I have to put up my hands? What's going on? You making an affirmation or something. What is going on? La uksimu, which is a word that's hardly used in the Quran, but I swear by this land, which the people knew prior to al-Islam or prior to Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, is that the land is sacred. It's important to the people. It's traced all the way back, not to just Ishmael, but Ibrahim. Prior to that, it was Adam. So they knew that the land was sacred. So when you mention, I swear by this land, it catches the attention of the people who are in power. Do we need to do something? Who are you? You're swearing by this land that what? That I am part of this land. I'm a free man. Is what he's saying. That even though you cling to your traditions, which is laughable in a sense because this message was so much of a threat to the establishment that there would be little skirmishes to try to get rid of this messenger. That I'm not going to lay in wait and just let you just take me out because, see, I'm free. I can do whatever I want to here. Very powerful words because in this land, I am a citizen, I'm a free man, and I don't have to hold to these rules because I'm giving you something. And when you make a threat to try to take that away, then I can fight you. Because we know that in the city you couldn't fight. So he's making it known that I'm a free man, I'm not bounded by your rules. And the mystic ties of the children, the mystic ties of those who are descendants, those that have passed on in history. He's telling them that not only am I a citizen that is not bound by your rules, but I have the power of that is unseen. I have the power that came before you, and I have the power of those that come after you. In this land, I am free. The city is, the powers that be are listening. They are listening because they don't know what's going on. Verily, Allah created man in toil and struggle. He created man in toil and struggle. So he created us in a dark place. He created us in a tight place, and we had to develop through the pain and through the suffering of growing inside such a tight place. And we struggle to come out of that situation, to come forth into the world. He created us in that situation. And then he says to the powers that be, he says, now, if you come from that, do you think that someone has no power over you? This is speaking clearly to the establishment. Clearly to the establishment, the people that are really trying to stop the message. This is early Mecca, and they're trying to stop the message. And they said, do you think that no one has power over you? Do you think that? It's a question. After they came from this place, came forth, now they are gifted with all these benefits, and they feel that they're better. They have no one to answer to. They have all the money. They make the rules. They have the power. But they boast about the money they spend, that they so say they help people with, when really they're just a propaganda machine that they pay money to detour the message, to take away the sting of the message. So they brag boastfully about the money they spend. But really they're spending their money on the wrong thing, because Allah created us in struggle. And they think that they have squandered all that they have. And they think that since I have done this, you should be grateful. You should be grateful that I don't have to answer to anyone. That is like this. That's what the psychology of people that are in power. When you think about the people that are in power, you had a slave structure that was lawful by the government. It was lawful to have a structure like that. When they decided to change that structure and say, okay, we're going to try to make things a little bit better, or we're going to try to make things even, or we're going to talk about equality. But that next person, that next generation that goes into power, they are traveling a paved road. It already has its laws established. So most of the time, when it's time to do the right thing, the hard thing, the thing that makes it more beneficial for you later, they decide to stay on the paved road, the easy road. And they're hoping that the message don't destroy the system that is currently in place. So as power, the psychology of that power is that no one is above them, that they don't have to answer to anything. So Allah says to them, didn't I make for you a pair of eyes? I made for you a pair of eyes so that you could see the world. I made for you a tongue so that you can talk, and lips that you can talk. Essentially, I gave you your own intelligence to be in the position that you are in, and you're not even grateful. And then Allah takes us, every one of us, He takes us to two roads in our life. And it seems that most of us here, we've taken the right road. Because in this road, there is a little struggle. Because the first thing you got to do is fight the ones you love. They want to know why you're praying. They want to know, why did you run away from what? You don't eat pork anymore, or you don't party anymore? What are you doing? You have to fight that whole thing. against your family. So we all that are here, we took the steep road. We took the road that wasn't paid for us. We said, no, I'm going to trek down this road because this is the road that is right for me. So we take that road because Allah gives us two highways. We have to make a decision in our lives at some point where that your friends don't matter, your homies don't matter, your family, I love you, but it don't matter. Because when it comes down to you, it's you and Allah. It is your relationship with Allah. You have to make that decision. It's either that or you continue down the same path. So when you look at that path, you'll know that it only gets worse as the generations go on. Because no one makes that change. Allah said he had made no haste on the path that is steep. That everything that we do in our righteousness is for good. It's nothing wasted. Everything weighs in our favor as we make our prayers, as we give charity, as we do things to help each other and inspire each other, even if they're not believers. It is important because a person who don't believe and just give his money to these great charities, what is it good for? Is it good for halting the message or hurting someone or keep them from trying to get to your level? But when you're a believer, it puts you on a path that keeps it, everything that you do right becomes a benefit for you. And people who are undecided about how this path is laid, Allah gives us. They ask the question, well, what is that path? Many people are gifted with wealth when they're born, so they have no other clue what the other side of that is. They think that hard times is just because of something you didn't do right. You caused it to happen. They show no sympathy or no empathy to your plight, your poverty, your struggle. They have a sense in their head that I don't have to answer to anybody. So they ask the question, what is this steep path? What do you mean doing good charity? I give money. But what does it go for? So they ask the question, what is this steep path? And it's one of the things of the steep path, being that it was in this society, was to free a slave, was to let someone go. And when you let someone go, you're not only letting them go from physical bondage, but you're letting them go from mental bondage. You're letting them serve their God. You're letting them wear the clothes they want to wear. You let them do and live the life that they want to live. It's not just letting go. So in this situation, you know that in a situation in America, you know that there's a struggle with this society because they're trying to reinvent the system. They can't keep it all together. And they don't want the message to ever get out. They don't want us to ever to know what the message is. They don't ever want you to know who Allah is. But in this message, the message is for them too. It is for those who say they don't believe and they don't think they have to answer to anybody. Because they never thought about where they came from. They think that where they came from is privilege. But the steep road is a road where you free someone, you let them go and be who they be. You give them food and charity. Not to give them food and charity to keep them in place, but find a way for them, a path for them to get out of their poverty, to get out of the way of life that they're living. Not to contain them in a neighborhood and think that, oh, that's the good charity. That is not the good charity. The good charity is giving in that case and then finding a way for them to come out of that situation so they're not forever begging. And of course, over time, the system continues to reinvent itself to keep people in place. They distort the message because they don't want you to be free. They want you to stay in the same state of mind, the same state of being. To follow these old rules of tradition that don't fit. So when Allah frees you, you're not bounded by rules like that. You obey the law, but you're not afraid to be what Allah had created you to be. It is to take care of the orphan. It is to have good relationships with people. And this is the way that is straight. This is the way that is steep. This is the way of the deeds in the right hand. Now, those who don't follow that, those who reject those signs, will be unhappy because they will find themselves in a place where they're totally surrounded and there's no way out. And they have to face every demon that they put out there. So this chapter is telling us how people are, how the land is, how we should take care of each other, and how believers should live as mu'min. The propaganda machine does everything in its power to keep the message from getting out. They always are fighting, making up rules. The guy said to me that all that we want to do is make America Sharia law. I said, Sharia law? I said, well, what Sharia law were we living under? And then, you can kind of see that, okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, we live under a certain kind of law. Certain people have a free law. They can do whatever they want to. I seen a guy trying to give a guy a ticket in New York, and he was just a kid. The whole community came out and said, you can't give him a ticket. And the kid muscled his way through the tow truck and everything and got out of there. I'm like, what kind of power is that? To be parked in the wrong place and someone give you a ticket and the whole community come out and stop that situation. When in other cases, some of us get shot because of that. So what law is that under? We are all under different laws. But the mu'min is protected. And all we have to do is stick to this here, the Quran. And Allah will make us free men and free women. And we're not bounded by any tradition. We have our own culture. And in it is justice for everyone. And it's supposed to be no discrimination. So let's adhere as much as possible to this lifestyle, to this book, because in it is wisdom for us that we can carry on through the ages. I pray that something I said today is helpful to us, that we shall grow as a community. I want to make a demand, so brothers, stay around before you leave today, please. Again, I need you again this week, inshallah. So I pray that something I said today is helpful to us, to get us to see us as a whole society. And even though we're just a piece in it, we are the standard. We are the standard. Okay. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Subhanallah walhamdulillah la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulk wa lahul hamd yuhyi wa yumiitu biyadihi al-khayru wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Brothers, I would like this week we're going to lay this carpet down, so I have a few brothers' number. If you could just write it down, I can, in your name, I'll just put you in my phone, or I can just, we can just exchange numbers so that we can have enough people here to move that carpet. I give it up for the brothers because all of them should be having back sores and all this problems, right? But they brought this carpet in. It's incredibly heavy. So if we can get more help, guys that are maybe, it was hardly anybody here 50 and under. 50 and under. All the brothers are up there, man. And they got that carpet in here. It's 1,200 pounds over there. And if you know somebody, you that's in school and stuff like that, just bring him, brother. I know he was working. I called him, the young brother right there. We kind of got it all by himself. Alhamdulillah. It was good to see young brother there. But I have his number, so we just need to exchange numbers so we can have this carpet laid down by next Jummah, inshallah, inshallah. Also, our dear sister Prasad, mashallah, man, she lost her husband. She lost her husband, and I mean, that really hit me. It just hit me hard. I really love her when she's here. And the janazah is tomorrow? Yes. It's tomorrow. Did she give us where to be? Or no, not yet. So maybe it's a private ceremony. We don't know anything yet, but I did call her and give her my condolences because I think I've only met him once. But it's sad. It's sad that the sister lost her husband, and she's, still grieving from a son that passed away a few years back. And they haven't found him. He was in Fort DeSoto and got sucked out. That's it. So, make dua for her because she's got to struggle. And her husband was struggling with losing his son, so that was a struggle too. So it was a lot that they were going through. So make dua for that family. Also, our charity is in the back and in the front. And prior to leaving, brothers, just hang around, see if we can just exchange numbers, see if we can get a little bit. I'm off Monday and Tuesday, so inshallah we'll start working on this. And we'll just need people here to help drag this thing in and get it all lined up and all that stuff. So inshallah. So may Allah continue to bless this community and guide us, continue to help us in our efforts to be good to ourselves, good to our families, and good to our community. Ameen. He commented.